Yo, what is going on, you guys? This is Ryan back again with another video, and today we're going to be going through the 2020-2021 NFL playoff bracket predictions. I'm not claiming that these are 100% accurate like a lot of people do. I'm not even probably going to put that in the title. I'm just going to give you my best, thoughts and opinions on what I think is going to happen. Obviously, my team is in the playoffs. I am a Titans fan, so there may be a little bit of bias going on, but I'm going to try to be as, realistic as I possibly can. Am I going to have the Titans win the Super Bowl? Probably not. But you never know. We're going to have to go through these matchups and see what I think. So right off the bat, we're going to start with the AFC, and because the bracket is not like linear, it's not going to go, for example, if the Browns or Steelers win, they're not just going to immediately, be put here with the, the Colts or the Bills. They reseed. So pretty much if, for example, the Colts are the number 7 seed, they are the last seed in the bracket. If they were to end up beating Buffalo, they would reseed and play the best seed possible, which would be the Kansas City Chiefs. So I'm not going to put them in, I'm not going to put the teams where they should go until we talk about the two matchups on either side of the bracket, just so it's not like a spoiler. If I say, like, I think, the Steelers beat the Browns and I move them over here, then that I'm probably going to end up picking, a different team on one side. So we're just going to go through and talk about what we think is going to happen. So first game, Browns versus Steelers. We're going to talk about that first on the AFC side. Browns for the first time, and I don't even know how long. I've been watching football for so many years of my life. I can't even remember the last time I even saw the Browns be a good team, let alone, make it into the playoffs and even have a chance. But against the Steelers, it's going to be in Pittsburgh. They are definitely, hungry to make a name for themselves, and it's a divisional matchup, and it's going to be really, really tough for Cleveland to go into Pittsburgh and, a young team like Cleveland and beat, Ben Roethlisberger and the Steelers. I really can't see it happening. As much as I really want it to happen, I just don't see it happening. I think Pittsburgh's going to come away with the victory. Their defense is just going to be too good. I could definitely see that front seven of Pittsburgh getting into Baker's head really early on. And then they're going to be playing with the lead. James Conner is going to be running the ball pretty well, most likely. If Cleveland can establish the run and avoid mistakes, avoid getting sacked, I think they have a chance. But in my personal opinion, I just think Pittsburgh's going to be too much for them, and I think they're going to end up winning. Moving on to the next game here, we have Indianapolis versus Buffalo, and it's going to be in Buffalo. Buffalo has looked very, very good all year long. Indy has also looked very good. They were in a pretty much dogfight with the Tennessee Titans to win that division throughout the entire year. Came down to the final seconds of the final game to decide that division. Buffalo pretty much ran away with their division. They looked very good. Josh Allen took a step that not many quarterbacks take a step towards, which is almost nearing MVP level. And he's looked very, very good. He's not made a lot of mistakes at all. He's looked very, very elite. And I think Buffalo is going to come away with that game. I think they're just too much. Stephon Diggs found himself a team that he can actually be the bona fide number one, and he looks like a bona fide number one. He's very, very good. Him and Josh Allen have a very good connection. On the opposite side of the end, the Indianapolis Colts, they have a very good team. Their defense is young. Their defense is good. The offense is all right. They definitely do have a ways to go before they could be considered like a Super Bowl contender, in my opinion. Obviously, they're going to have to replace Phillip Rivers soon, and that's going to be, up for debate if they can do that. Definitely going to have to either get lucky in free agency with somebody. They have a lot of money. I'm not sure if Rivers is going to retire this year or if he's going to play one more year, but they definitely need to get ready to, get someone else in there, because they're definitely a young, hungry team that is just a couple of players away from potentially being a Super Bowl contender. So definitely, I don't think they could beat Buffalo. I don't think they will beat Buffalo. But, next year with all that money, if they get the right pieces, maybe they will be able to beat Buffalo and maybe even make it further. For Colts fans, it sucks that Andrew Luck retired. I know it is what it is. But, if they had Andrew Luck, it would be a different story. Moving on, Baltimore, Tennessee. This is a game that we saw last year in the playoffs. Tennessee came into Baltimore and pretty much shocked the world. They got up early, and Baltimore was not able to play from behind and win. And I'm kind of thinking, a similar thing is going to end up happening. Derrick Henry is going to end up playing against a defense that he hasn't seen yet. And by that, I mean they didn't have Calais Campbell. They didn't have their other defensive end. I think it was Brandon Williams or someone. I can't remember who didn't play in the regular season, but they didn't have Calais Campbell during that game when Derrick Henry ended up running wild on them again and, beat them in overtime with that run. But being in Tennessee, Baltimore's a team that really can't play from behind that well. And if Tennessee comes out and establishes the run and doesn't make a lot of mistakes, and Tannehill gets the ball out early on the play actions to A.J. Brown and gets the play actions off to Corey Davis, and it's just probably going to be a little bit too much for Baltimore to handle. I know a lot of people are going to think, you're just being biased, blah, 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 but I really think the Tennessee Titans are going to pull this off, and a lot of teams are going to start wondering, is Baltimore, they have made the playoffs back-to-back years, and they've lost in the first round. Is this actually, a team that can do it? And I just think they're running into the wrong team. I feel like Baltimore is such a bad matchup for the Titans. It's not Baltimore's fault. Obviously, they should be able to, compete against the Titans and win, which they can win. But I just personally believe that the Titans are one of the worst matchups they can have. If they played anybody else, I would have a very strong consideration of having them win. But I think Tennessee is going to win that game. So we're going to go ahead and reseed it now. We did have Pittsburgh winning, which they are the 3 seed. Indy is a 7 seed, and I had them losing. So that means that Buffalo, being the 2 seed, would end up playing against Pittsburgh, and the 4 seed Tennessee Titans would re-bracket and rematch up here against the number 1 seed, which is Kansas City. So we're going to go ahead and throw them in there. And then we're going to go ahead and move Buffalo, being the number 2 seed. They will be repositioned here. And we will have the Steelers positioned as the away team against Buffalo. And they will go here. So that is our second round here. The divisional round of the playoffs. Moving on to the NFC now. Probably going to make these a little bit shorter. I don't want this video to be 20 minutes long. LA Rams versus the Seattle Seahawks. The Rams have a little bit of an issue with their quarterback. I think Jared Goff had a thumb or a finger injury that he needed surgery on. In terms of who I think is going to win this game, I'm just going to keep it short and sweet. Definitely going to go with Seattle. In Seattle versus the Rams, Seattle just has way too much firepower. Defense is not all that great. Sorry, someone's calling me, actually. Let me go ahead and cancel that. Defense isn't all that great on Seattle, but I just don't think the Rams are going to be able to get it clicking enough to beat Seattle in Seattle in the playoffs. We're just going to go ahead and take Seattle. Chicago versus the New Orleans Saints. And this is a little bit of a, could go either way for me, but I'm going to end up taking New Orleans. Kamara has looked unbelievable. Drew Brees has not looked so spectacular, but I think he's going to turn it up in the playoffs. As long as they can get Kamara the ball and, running the ball or getting him the ball through the passing game, I think it's just too much for Chicago to even try to compete with. They're not going to be able to score enough points to beat them is the problem. Even if Chicago's defense has been amazing, I just don't see them being able to score enough points to actually beat New Orleans. And, I'm just going to go ahead and take New Orleans. And then, again, not going to talk too much about this matchup. Washington is one of the teams, Washington football team is one of the teams that just does not belong in the playoffs. I mean, they did earn their right to be in the playoffs, but being, what are they, like 7-9, 6-10, whatever it is, they just don't. I don't really need to talk about it. Tampa Bay should be able to score at least 40 points in that game. So we have, who's the lowest seed that we have winning here? Looks like it's going to be Seattle. We had actually all of the higher or actually, I'm sorry, Tampa Bay is the 5th seed, so they will get re-bracketed here, reseeded down to play against the Green Bay Packers. And then we actually had Seattle and New Orleans, so that's going to go ahead and be a matchup here, with Seattle being the number 3 seed. They will be the away team. Let me go ahead and actually do this the proper way instead of how I'm doing it. We're going to put them here, and then we will have the New Orleans Saints as the number 2 seed, and they will be playing at home against Seattle. So let's go ahead and move on. AFC now. We're going to talk about the divisional round. We have the Pittsburgh Steelers against the Buffalo Bills. Buffalo obviously being at home. Tennessee at Kansas City. We're going to go ahead and talk about Pittsburgh at Buffalo. This is a very, very good matchup here. I believe I'm going to go ahead and take Buffalo in this one. Again, Buffalo has they've been playing way too well. Their offense is phenomenal. They have, talent all around the board. Receivers, the running backs aren't that bad. They have a really good quarterback, MVP tier quarterback, in my opinion. Can beat you on the ground, can beat you through the air, extends plays, makes plays out of nothing. And Pittsburgh, they have a great defense. Their offense is kind of struggling a bit. Actually, some may even say struggling a lot. And if they can't get the ball rolling, if they can't keep up with Buffalo, they're just not going to be able to win. And that's why I'm going to take Buffalo in this matchup. I'm not going to talk too much about it. Obviously, if I wanted to, I could talk, 20 minutes about each matchup, but I don't want to make the video too long. I just don't see Buffalo being able to, Pittsburgh being able to beat Buffalo. I mean, I could, maybe see it happening, but I just really want to just go with Buffalo. They're just playing too hot right now, and I think, Pittsburgh is going to be one of those teams that, next year, Big Ben decides to retire. They're going to also be in the same boat as Indianapolis. They're going to need to get a quarterback in there, and I just don't think Big Ben has it. I don't think he has enough to, sustain a pretty big playoff run. I think Buffalo's going to end up winning, and, it is a little bit of a spoiler. I do have Buffalo up here in the away slot because I believe Kansas City, as much as I want Tennessee to be able to win this game, I just don't see it happening. Kansas City is just too overpowered. I'm trying to find them here on the little thing I have. I actually need to create a copy paste here. But Kansas City just too overpowered. As much as, like I said, I want Tennessee to be able to win that game, and I think they could have a chance. We've seen that matchup last year. Tennessee actually was up, I believe, 13-0, and then they made a whole bunch of errors, mistakes, couldn't get the ball rolling on the ground, and Kansas City ended up coming back and winning. I think a lot of the same is going to happen. Kansas City has looked vulnerable at points this year. Like, they have looked kind of human at points. So definitely, I'm not saying this is an absolute guarantee. I do believe a Tennessee-Buffalo AFC Championship game could be on the cards. Don't be surprised if that ends up happening. But Kansas City, I just believe, will take the game. Tennessee is going to make a couple of mistakes in that game if it ends up happening, and it's just going to be too much to contend with. Kansas City will take advantage of every mistake you make, and they will make you pay for it, and that's why they're going to win. Moving over to the NFC side, Seattle at New Orleans. Again, this is where Seattle's going to falter. New Orleans, again, too overpowered here. They're not overpowered, but their offense is so high-powered, high-tier caliber that they could get the ball rolling on them pretty easily with Kamara, and I just don't see Seattle being able to keep up with them. I know that's kind of crazy to say because Seattle does have a pretty good offense as well. Obviously, Russell Wilson, DK Metcalf, their other receivers they got there. They got Chris Carson running the ball there. They got a couple of other guys, DJ Dallas. I'm not even sure if he even plays when Chris Carson isn't injured, but he's looked pretty decent at times. Their backup running back. But yeah, New Orleans definitely, I think, is just going to take the victory here. I don't really want to talk too much about it. We haven't even seen really, seen Michael Thomas get going yet. And, playoff time, that's where Drew Brees is going to be on point, and he's going to get the victory here for them. So we have New Orleans as the number, what seed are they? Number 2. Yeah, so we're going to end up having them move on to the next game. I'm just going to put them here for now because I'm not sure what I'm going to have happen in this Packers and Bucks game. But we do have the Bucks taking on the Packers in Lambeau Field. Tom Brady versus Aaron Rodgers. This is what everyone wants to see. Hall of Famer versus Hall of Famer. Who is going to take the victory here? And it is going to be Green Bay, in my opinion, and it is very, very close. I really want to have Tampa Bay win this game, but I believe it's going to be Aaron Rodgers and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, Aaron Rodgers and the Green Bay Packers taking the victory here against Tampa. It's so close in my opinion, but it's going to be a nice game. It's going to be a really close, maybe over 50 points scored type of game. With Devontae Adams and Aaron Rodgers being a little bit too much for Brady, but again, it could really just go either way. Tampa Bay has Antonio Brown, they have Chris Godwin, they have Leonard Fournette, they have Ronald Jones, they have Rob Gronkowski, which is going to be in the playoffs, and Rob Gronkowski gives his entire body, he puts his entire body on the line in the playoffs, and it's just really crazy to see how well he could play when all the cards, all the chips are on the table. So again, could go either way, but I have to go with Green Bay. I think they're just going to come out and just be able to outduel them, in my opinion. Play a little bit better defense and get the dub. Even though Green Bay's defense isn't all that great against the run, luckily for Green Bay, Tampa isn't the best running team. And they mostly have been very good. Obviously, Brady throwing the ball, and Green Bay has a pretty decent passing defense, and their guys, Jair Alexander, their safety. I'm not even really sure who the safety's name is. Darnell Savage, I want to say, has been playing really well, so I could see them making a difference in the game, and Green Bay moving on. So AFC Championship game, Buffalo at Kansas City, and where are my teams here? We have. Make that brighter. I don't know why that's not bright. Here are my team brackets here. So Kansas City, and we also have Buffalo up here. So Buffalo at Kansas City. I want to make this a Buffalo victory, but again, I just can't do it. Kansas City, I just think they're going back to the Super Bowl, and I think it's going to be one of the best games that you've seen all year, in my opinion. The AFC Championship game is going to be a very high-rated game on TV. Everyone's going to be watching it. Everyone's going to be talking about it for years. One of the best AFC Championship games, one of the best conference championship games in recent history, with an absolute chess match between Patrick Mahomes and Josh Allen, with Patrick Mahomes coming out on top. Again, another game where I could see the over being over 50, but with Kansas City coming away with the victory. And then we also have, on the opposite side, New Orleans versus Green Bay. And this is going to be a little bit controversial, and it's kind of sounding like I'm pro New Orleans, but I think it's going to be Breeze's last hurrah. And I think he's going to be able to outduel Aaron Rodgers. And I know a lot of Green Bay fans are going to be upset and say, Aaron Rodgers, he deserves to be in the Super Bowl. This is his year. He's got to do it. He only has one Super Bowl victory in his entire career. And, he's got to beat New Orleans. This is his time. It's in Lambeau. They have a matchup here coming in. It's going to be the State Farm Super Bowl. It's going to be Green Bay and Kansas City, the Super Bowl that everyone wanted to see last year, but it didn't end up happening. It's not going to happen again this year, in my opinion. It's going to be Kansas City and New Orleans, with the victory going to... Which one do we have here? Is it going to be Kansas City? Is it going to be New Orleans? It is going to be... This is going to be on-the-fly decision for me. It is going to be the Kansas City Chiefs again. And yes, I know it's annoying. I know it's predictable. I'm not doing anything that's like unpredictable and crazy. Like, oh, you won't believe my Super Bowl champion. I just think Kansas City, Patrick Mahomes is a once-in-a-lifetime quarterback, and it's just unfortunate for the NFL. It's kind of like the Warriors, in my opinion, of the NBA, where you play against a team and you think you have a chance, but they just completely overwhelm you. They just completely make you feel completely hopeless, and that's kind of what's going to happen here in the Super Bowl. I don't even think it's going to be relatively close. I think Kansas City, if they get back to the Super Bowl, they are just going to go absolutely, crazy. I want to say the word ape-s, but I'm not trying to swear too much. But that's pretty much what they're going to do. They're going to go completely crazy. They're going to win the Super Bowl. And on February 7th, 2021, Patrick Mahomes, in his young NFL career, will not only have an MVP under his belt, but he will also have 2 Super Bowl champion and 2 Super Bowl MVP trophies. And it's going to be scary because it's not going to change. Nothing's going to change going into the next year. Kansas City will still be the favorite, and Mahomes is going to look like a unbeatable force. Which one of these teams from the AFC, which one of these teams from the NFC is going to be the team that everyone thinks can take him out? Who knows? Is it going to be Buffalo and young Josh Allen building their squad up? Is it going to be Baltimore and Lamar Jackson? Are they going to be able to compete with him in the future? Is it going to be the Colts with all their money they have, their young defense, and potentially a new quarterback? Is it going to be Baker Mayfield and the Browns, Derrick Henry and the Titans? Is it going to be Aaron Rodgers eventually that could, take the throne? Who knows? But as of right now, the 2020-2021 Super Bowl champion Kansas City Chiefs are here, and they're not going anywhere. And that is going to be the end of this playoff prediction bracket video. If you guys enjoyed, please go ahead and give it a like. And that is going to be it, guys. Peace.